Hello and welcome into Cronkite Sports Live. I'm Braiden alongside me is Eliav, Gabay, and EG. It's the season finale, and obviously the end of things leads to reminiscing, so we'll have plenty of memories from our time here at Arizona State, some involving this show indeed, but one memory we had last Saturday I think might top them all.
No doubt about that, Braiden. We're finally here, anchoring together for our last CSL Behind the Desk, and you know what? I'm pretty emotional right now, not gonna lie.
I brought the Kleenexes for you. Do not worry, folks. It won't get too out of hand.
This has just been the best, I mean, for real, but let's be honest, there's nothing better than Hate Week.
No.
Arizona State versus Arizona. It's Tucson and Tempe, Sparky and Wilbur, Khalil and Nikhil, two teams that truly can't stand one another playing for the pride of their state. The 92nd Territorial Cup showed us what this rivalry is all about. I was at Arizona Stadium to break down one of the greatest comebacks in ASU history.
For Arizona and Arizona State, hate is compiled all into 1 week and at one another. Today, the two will get a chance to take out that hate.
Since 1899, the duel in the desert has been the stage for one of the most intense rivalries in sports. But the 92nd Territorial Cup might have been the wildest one yet. Initially, Wildcat quarterback Khalil Tate and his offense seemingly couldn't be stopped, accumulating 308 total yards in the first half. On the other hand, ASU had trouble moving the chains, only picking up 8 first downs compared to Arizona's 15. Still, the Sun Devils were fortunate to be within striking distance, as the defense limited U of A to a field goal in the red zone 3 times before the half was over. The Wildcats kept rolling to start the second half, outscoring Arizona State 18-7 in the third quarter, including the defense's second safety of the season. The Sun Devils needed somebody to step up. That somebody was freshman defensive back Ashari Crosswell, who broke up a big-time 2-point conversion attempt by Arizona in the third quarter and had the biggest interception of his life in the fourth quarter, flipping the momentum of the game. The Herm train got back on track as ASU forced 2 turnovers and stayed focused behind quarterback Manny Wilkins, who finished with 265 yards and prepared his team for the hostile environment.
They're going to start talking trash. They're going to start doing all this. They're trying to get a bowl game. They're having a losing season. I had coaches coming up to me talking crap, and that's just ignorant.
The fire that fueled the hate ignited one of the greatest comebacks in Sun Devil football history as they finished the game on a 20-0 run. Even though Arizona blew their 19-point lead, they still set up their kicker Josh Pollock for a potential game-winning field goal. Unfortunately for him and the Wildcats, that kick was wide right.
No good! Pollock missed it to the right! Arizona State's gonna win it!
One away for this senior group to go out. Manny Wilkins comes away with the win. Nikhil Harry in what's likely his final game as a Sun Devil. What a game.
A 19-point comeback in the fourth quarter, and the Devils keep the Territorial Cup 41-40.
Coming back here.
For Cronkite Sports, I am Eliav Gabay.
What an amazing game it was in Tucson. It was historic, it produced big highlight plays, demanded your attention throughout. Those descriptors can also apply to one of the greatest Sun Devils ever, Nikhil Harry. This week, the star wide receiver announced his decision to forego his senior season and declare for the NFL draft. Alex Gall has more on Harry's memorable career in Tempe.
And with that being said, I'd like to forego my senior season and declare for the 2019 NFL draft.
Nikhil Harry will go down in the Sun Devil history books. Over his 3 years at ASU, Harry has been a steady and deadly offensive weapon for quarterback Manny Wilkins. As Harry leaves for the NFL next season, he leaves quite the legacy in the desert, one that started back in high school. Harry first gained national prominence back in his days at Chandler High School in the East Valley, when a video of Harry breaking the backboard in a basketball game for the Wolves garnered national attention. Harry was ESPN's 22nd overall rated prospect in the class of 2016 and chose to stay home for college, making the short journey over to Tempe over a slew of other offers, including 8 more from the Pac-12. Nikhil said his upbringing allowed him to appreciate the unique community of fans surrounding him at Arizona State.
This university has given me everything I've ever wanted. You know, when I stay after games, when I talk to kids, when I give them some of my gear, I get pure joy from that. That's how I was raised, to give back. You know, not to be selfish. You can't think about yourself all the time. And you know, it's just been a blessing to be in the position that I'm in.
Since arriving at ASU, N'Keal Harry has shined on the field for the Sun Devils. Harry made an immediate impact in his freshman season, scoring a 34-yard touchdown in his first game as a Sun Devil. That was the first of many, as Harry has racked up 25 total touchdowns in his 3 seasons at Arizona State to add to a total of 2,889 receiving yards. As it currently stands, N'Keal Harry will finish his ASU career 3rd all-time in both total receiving yards and total receptions, behind DJ Foster and Derek Hagan. But both Foster and Hagan played their full 4 seasons at ASU, while N'Keal leaves after 3.
You know, what he's meant to us as a football player, but also meant to me as a student athlete, I think is very important. He has accomplished a lot of things on the field as well as off the field. He's done everything we could ask him to do as an athlete, as a leader on the football team. All those things come to mind when you think about this young man.
Harry has not decided whether he will play in ASU's upcoming bowl game. But if Saturday's thrilling 19-point comeback in Tucson is Harry's last game in the maroon and gold, he definitely left his mark in the desert for years to come. In Tempe, Alex Gall, Cronkite Sports.
Great stuff from Alex all season long. To talk more real deal N'Keal, we have our WCSN football experts Harley Yearout and Chris Gleason here with us. Thanks for joining me, fellas. Harley, I'll start with you. Obviously, everyone knows about the numbers and the accolades, but what has been the true magnitude of N'Keal Harry's impact on this ASU football program?
Well, there's no doubt N'Keal Harry is going to have a lasting legacy at Arizona State University, and it's one that goes far beyond the box score. You talk about a guy who was a 5-star recruit coming out of Chandler High School, grew up in Arizona, had suitors like Oregon and Texas A&M among others, and elected to stay home and attend Arizona State University. Not only that, but he produced at an extremely high level. We'll take a look at some of these numbers here. 213 receptions, 2,889 receiving yards, good for 3rd in program history. First among 3-year players, which is arguably his most impressive stat, Eliav. And you look at this guy, he will be sorely missed with this football program, and it's about finding who will step up next for the Arizona State Sun Devils.
Chris, there's been a lot of speculation about where Harry will end up in this upcoming draft, but what are some mock projections?
Yeah, Eliav, it's been a consensus all year that N'Keal Harry would be one of the top NFL prospects in the upcoming draft, but now that he's officially declared, it's a good time to take a look at where some of the big mock drafts have him going. You look at CBS Sports, first up, they have him going 25th overall. He's ranked as their number 3rd overall receiver. Going forward to NBC Sports, they have him a little higher at 13th, and then right in the middle of those two, Sports Illustrated has him going at 23rd overall. So it seems, worst case scenario, N'Keal Harry is probably a late 1st-round pick.
These next two are for the both of you. First off, ASU's Duel in the Desert comeback was obviously incredible, but what were your main takeaways from the rally? Harley, we'll start with you.
Well, you look back throughout the season, the team and its fans suffered so many heartbreaking losses. Every loss they had, all 5 of them, 1-score games. So this Arizona game really seemed like a culmination of all those, to be able to come back from 19 down and escape Tucson with the Territorial Cup. I think that is a sign that the team has really taken on Herm Edwards' attitude and resiliency. And we'll talk about the defense here. Danny Gonzalez has a great saying that he uses with his defense: the team that plays the longest, the hardest wins. And obviously, yeah, that's what happened in Tucson.
Chris?
Well, yeah, Harley, you mentioned the defense, and that was by far their worst game of the season. Prior to that, they had not allowed more than 28 points to any opposing offense. But going into the 4th quarter, they had allowed 40 to the Wildcats. But they stepped up big time. You saw Shari Crosswell first get that interception. And, of course, Tyler Johnson had a big-time fumble recovery that allowed the offense to orchestrate that dramatic 4th quarter comeback. And Gonzalez preaches on turnovers and the importance it has to defense all season long, and you saw it pay off in the last frame of that game.
Well, even with the Territorial Cup in hand, if you ask Herm Edwards, the season wasn't a success without the Pac-12 title. How would you both assess Herm's first season at Arizona State, starting with Chris?
I think you have to look at it as a success. I mean, all of the criticism and the mockery of this hiring when it happens, I mean, I don't want to say that I wasn't one of those people that criticized it. I predicted them to go 6-6, and a lot of people thought they would be worse. But I think Herm Edwards has an ability to connect with these student athletes that Todd Graham didn't have. Senior nose tackle and captain Rennell Wren talked to me about how there's a lot less rules. It's less strict. You see guys wearing do-rags in film rooms. And another player talked to me about how the relationship between upperclassmen and underclassmen is a lot better than it's been in past years. So Edwards deserves a lot of credit for coming in here and proving everyone wrong.
Harley?
Yeah, I absolutely think he deserves a lot of credit. And let's flash back to Ray Anderson's firing of Todd Graham. He had some very key points he was looking for in his next head coach. One of them was competitive consistency. Again, all 5 of their losses by 1 score, and they also won a lot of those close games as well. Secondly, was not getting guys into the NFL draft. Let's take a look down the road here, about 3 years to Merlin Robertson, Ashari Crosswell, Darian Butler, among others, who will likely be entering that NFL draft as talented defensive players. And thirdly, and of course this wasn't accomplished this season, but winning that Pac-12 championship. I think in Edwards' first year, it was somewhat of an unreasonable expectation. Didn't have any of his guys, so overall, I would say the season was a success for both the new leadership model installed by Ray Anderson and Herm Edwards himself.
Well, we'll see how ASU's recruiting goes this summer. Thank you both for your hard work all season long. For all of Chris and Harley's content, check out CronkiteSports.com. ASU star guard Lou Gensdort has taken the nation by storm. He's one of 6 Sun Devils in ASU history to be named Pac-12 Player of the Week as a freshman, and the Canadian has led Arizona State to an unblemished record thus far with his dominant play. I sat down with Dort to chat about his hot start, adjusting to the college spotlight, and much more in the latest edition of Sun Devil Sit Down. Hello and welcome into the latest edition of Sun Devil Sit Down. I'm Eliav Gabay, joined by freshman phenom Lou Gensdort. Let's get right into it. You got the national attention, of course, a great time in Vegas, Pac-12 Player of the Week. Did you think it'd be this impactful this quickly?
I mean, when I first started, I didn't know it would have been that fast after 5 games, but now that it happens, I'm just really happy.
When I say freshman phenom, I mean it. 23, 8, 2, and 2, doing a little bit of everything. What is it about Bobby Hurley and his system that's made you so comfortable?
I mean, at first, when he first started recruiting me, it was about all this transition, the way he was playing, the way the team was playing, and then it was really about learning how to play the guard too. And then since I've been here, it's been really great, and I'm learning a lot.
And of course, you just mentioned tradition. The brotherhood here has seemed to really come along. Why do you think you guys have meshed so well?
For me, I think it's because last year when I committed so early, and then I came to Tempe a lot, and I got to meet a lot of guys like Kimani and Zalen and Romello and all them. And then I feel like if we were just close to each other since the summer too, and then right now we're just a real family.
Yeah, and it's of course your first season at ASU. You already spoke about Tempe. What are your early impressions of Sun Devil Nation and Wells Fargo Arena?
I was talking to my teammates last time. I was telling them that when people comes here, it's really hard to play us at home because of the student section and the fan base we have here, and then it's just really great and loud, and then hearing all of them cheering our names or for us, it's just great.
You mentioned cheering the names, yelling after you, the curtain of distraction, the whole 9. So does it take time to get used to this kind of college attention?
At first it did. The first couple games, like the first 2 games it did, but like right now, we just in the court over there and having fun.
Of course, with the college attention comes that college competition. So going into the rest of the non-conference schedule, it doesn't get much easier. Kansas, Nevada coming up. Do you prepare any differently for those kind of games?
Oh, I think we will. I mean, it's some ranked teams and then some bigger teams, and then I just think that we have to go harder in practice and be ready for them team.
Of course, you and Remy Martin known to go hard at practice at one another. How has he helped your progression here at ASU so far?
I mean, he helped me really good. The fact that he plays really hard on defense in practice. So now when I'm in the game playing against some smaller guards and really quick, when they're guarding me, I don't really feel that much pressure because Remy always used to do that pressure in practice, and now I'm used to it.
Still so early in your career, but what other weapons have we yet to see in your arsenal?
I'm starting to have a better feel for my three-point shot. I feel like I'm getting more consistent right now, and it's just now I'm trying to get my teammates more involved. So there's some more things coming, yeah.
Well, we'll see how deep Lou's bag really is as the season goes on, and let's see if they can ride that momentum as the season progresses. But thank you so much, Lou. Thanks for joining me. For Lou Genstort, I'm Eliav Gabay. This has been Sun Devil Sit Down.
Great stuff there from Eliav and Lou. And of course, Lou Dort, one of the biggest stars on the floor so far this season for Arizona State. Alex Gall, a star in his own right. He joins me now. We're going to break down some film and dive behind the scenes a little bit. Why has Arizona State been so successful so far? Undefeated so far in non-conference play. And a lot of that obviously has to do with Dort. But this whole roster's been strong. And Alex, I'm going to ask you, besides Lou Dort, who else has really stood out to you?
Yeah, well, Braiden, I mean, Lou Dort's obviously been the team MVP so far this season. The person that's impressed me most besides him is Zylan Cheatham, and he had a near triple-double on Wednesday. And you think that might be the story, but I'm going to talk a little bit about his defense because he's arguably one of the best defenders on this ASU squad. In the game against Nebraska Omaha, he's just so good at being in the right defensive position. He's right there at the top of the key, and he sees that his man is out all the way behind the three-point line. He doesn't need to be out there between the ball, the man, and the basket, and able to pick off the pass clean, take it all the other way for the two-handed flush. And he is just able to create these offensive opportunities for himself. He's going to do it here again in transition as the Mavericks are coming down the court. Look at his positioning. Again, he's right between his ball and two men, so he could make the interception pass here, or he could step up, and that's exactly what he does. Picks him clean again, and it leads to the highlight of the game, Braiden, that windmill dunk.
Yeah, he had YG talking about that dunk. He had Tempe on fire, no doubt about that. Big-time slam by Cheatham. Unusual play kind of stylistically for this team so far. One of the biggest things, rebounding. This is a program in the past that's really struggled with that. They lead the country right now in rebounds per game. They've been outstanding with that. What's kind of been the turnaround there?
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought we'd be talking about this team, the Guard U from last season, becoming Big Guard U, as they've dubbed it here in Tempe this season, and they're doing a fantastic job rebounding on the inside. The thing about them this season, as opposed to last season, is they don't have to be in the best possible defensive position to get those rebounds. They're going to get a couple offensive rebounds as well, but because they're so athletic, you see Kamani Lawrence crashing there at the top of the key. He's going to come down. He's going to pick up an offensive rebound, just out-muscle and out-hustle the other player there for UNO. And that's something that the Devils are able to do this season. They don't need to be in perfect defensive position. Here we go as Tayshaun Cherry takes a left wing three. A big scrum down by the net there. But look at ASU. They're not in great position to get the offensive board. But because they're so athletic, there's one from Kamani Lawrence. Zylan Cheatham is going to get the one right there, the second one. And because they're good on the interior, they're going to get another one here. Good steal from Romello White, and Romello White puts in the basket. And that's something that we couldn't have said about the team last year. Pounding it inside has been a big key for Bobby Hurley's squad this season.
A good amount of rebounding goes into effort. This team clearly has that. They also have length. But they also have a challenge coming up on Saturday, Texas Southern. Now, folks, wouldn't have sounded like a challenge when you looked at the schedule preseason, but this is a pretty good team. They just got done beating Oregon earlier this week, a ranked Oregon team in Eugene. They also beat Baylor earlier this season. So what kind of a test should we expect Texas Southern to bring?
You know, I mean, we talk about a lot of people talking about the Kansas game as the big marquee matchup in this non-conference season, but don't sleep on them, man. I mean, they came in, they shot under 40% in the first half against Oregon, and they were down 7 at halftime. But this team can explode, much like Bobby Hurley's squad did last year as Guard U. They shot 55% in the second half from three-point range, 57% overall. So this team can explode, and Bobby Hurley's squad doesn't want to take them lightly on Saturday, or they might have come out of there with Tempe with a victory.
Yeah, you see that 54% beyond the arc. That's Guard U in its finest. We'll see if Texas Southern can pull off another shocker. ASU trying to avoid that at the bank on Saturday. Alex, thank you so much for all your coverage.
Thank you, Braiden.
Adversity. Every single day, people and groups face it. Arizona State's volleyball program is no different. After going 0-20 last year in conference play, the Devils fought through adversity and this season pulled off upsets against 3 ranked teams. But none of that compares to the fight that ASU volleyball player Carmen Unthwe has dealt with. At the age of just 2, Unthwe was diagnosed with leukemia. This tale is not about all the bad news, though. It is about the fight to get her from her native Spain all the way to America, where she is playing Division I volleyball in the best conference in the nation. Our WCSN volleyball coverage team has more on this incredible story.
Well, I came here my sophomore year. My freshman year I was in American University, and it was kind of tough my freshman year, getting used to all the culture shock and stuff. But when I came here, I feel that people embrace better the foreigners. First, I had leukemia when I was 2 years old. And then 2 years after, my father passed away with lung cancer too. This past summer, I was looking through pictures, old pictures from my dad, for me, and I saw my pictures, in the hospital without the hair, when you see yourself like really weak, and that was really, it impacted me a lot.
Like, no, I can't even think how strong that makes you. Like as a kid, when you go through something like that as a young kid, it has to make you tougher and more resilient than most kids. So I'm sure that's why at times Carmen is the way she is, because she's been through a lot.
To me, I always looked at my mom and see how she handled it. Since I left home, we got closer somehow. It's crazy. And for this season, with all the ups and downs, it makes me see the bigger picture and remind me, what am I doing here?
She wants to play pro, and that's something that's ahead of her. And I think those things that she worked on this year are going to help her a lot while she's playing pro.
Even though ASU volleyball finished the season on a low note after facing 4 ranked teams in a row, there was plenty of movement in the right direction. Joining me to wrap up the year is Cronkite Sports volleyball analyst Gabe Schwartz. Gabe, thanks for joining me. Now, we just heard one of the seniors on the squad, Carmen Untwe, but overall, what has the senior class meant to the program?
Well, each of these seniors is a transfer into the program. Each of them had different journeys to becoming Sun Devils, and each of them had different experiences as Sun Devils. Over the course of their time as Sun Devils, they had a 0-20 season last year, and then they went 5-15 this year. I think it's easy to see the program's heading in the right direction. They're leaving it in a better place than they entered it in.
And as you just mentioned, while the Sun Devils improved their record from last season, they still finished 5-15 in a tough Pac-12 conference. So after starting the season so strong, what held them back?
Well, it simply came down to the fact that they couldn't defend home court. They had winnable matches against Colorado, against Utah, against conference doormat Oregon State, and they allowed the Beavers to win their only conference match in Tempe. They just couldn't get the job done in their easy matches.
So through all the ups and the downs, this was still their 3rd straight losing season. So what does the future hold for Arizona State volleyball?
Well, Sonia Tomasevich talked about it in a couple matches, how they were having to play hitters that had negative hitting percentages and how that doesn't bode well for the program. With new recruits coming in, they're going to need a bigger season from them, as well as Ivana Jeremic, Claire Kavensky, if they want to have success next year. But I think they're heading in the right direction.
Well, the volleyball team wasn't great, but your coverage was undefeated, Gabe. Thank you.
Now over to the ice, where the ASU hockey team has a bye week. But just because the team has a bye doesn't mean our coverage team does. Enjoy this edition of CSL Conversation.
Well, the biggest highlight for the season has been getting ranked for the first time. After that series against Michigan State, they really proved that they can build some chemistry and confidence. Beautiful. And they just have been riding that on through the first half of the season.
The best part of the season so far for ASU hockey has just been clicking as a team. Getting 10 wins and surpassing that win total from last year. Splitting the series against Harvard or Penn State. All of those have been highlights for the team. But really just getting the team to click together and put some wins together, I think has been the highlight for the team.
I think the highlight of the hockey season has to be that Penn State overtime victory away from home at Penn State. Johnny Walker, I think, said it best in his interview where he was like, the team, their celebrations just seemed over the top, so there was a point to prove for ASU.
I mean, it has to be Johnny Walker, right? The way that he's able to score the puck from anywhere on the ice he is such a threat out there. And then what he does on the power play, when they run him at the point, he's unstoppable.
I think some of the most valuable players are some of the players that we don't see because oftentimes big freshmen, are kind of taking all the spotlight, but players like Anthony Crossan and Dylan Holman who are constantly producing.
The power play, I think, is one of the biggest issues that ASU needs to get better on. They are a lot better this year than they were last year. Last year they were bad, to say the least. And so this year they've improved, but it needs to be something that is a consistent, reliable source of scoring.
Just staying out of the penalty box. Now, of course, they have one of the highest penalty kills in all of the country. But again, when you take more and more trips to the penalty box, the teams are going to find ways to find the back of the net.
Regardless, Sun Devil hockey is going to be above 500. I think they're really motivated to have a better season that they've had in past years, and I think that in a lot of the series they're going to take home wins.
So I believe the Sun Devils are going to win 20 games this year, doubling what they have right now.
20 to 22 game range. They have the Desert Hockey Classic coming up where they might have to face Mankato or Minnesota Duluth, which are two really hard teams.
Ideally, the team wants to hit around 500. If they can get above 500, it'll be fantastic. I think they will get above 500. I think they're aiming for looking at a 19 to 22 win season this year.
Such a jam-packed show. Let's take a quick Sun Devil social media break. And for that, I'm so excited to invite back Mr. Tyler Mannion. Tyler, last time you had wings for us. Please tell me you have something special this time.
Better be something good. It's our last one.
Besides your fabulous sweets, of course, but come on.
Guys, I'm not going to make any promises. I don't want to get your hopes up, all right? We're just going to, I will promise we do have some good tweets.
All right,
Is that okay?
Yeah,
yes.
Fine, whatever.
Sorry. Anyway, we're going to get into it. It's a football edition of Sun Devil social media. So the first tweet, actually the most underrated part of the Territorial Cup rivalry is the mascots. So Sparky tweets at AZ Wilbur Wildcat, open for a surprise. So Wilbur's like, oh, a surprise? Wait. That's my lady cat. That's Wilma right there.
Holy cats.
Wilma's sliding in Sparky's DMs.
Wow.
What's going on?
Well, first off, glad the phone's being charged at 2%. But second off, Mr. Steal Your Girl, Sparky the Sun Devil. Who would have thought?
ASU's got the game on the field, but Sparky's got the game off the field right
Clearly.
there. Come on. Sorry, Wilbur.
Did he respond? That's a real question.
Ooh. Didn't see that. We didn't see that. Maybe that was a little fisticuffs.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see next time they meet up, but we'll see. Second tweet. We're just going to show you a little video here. Enjoy.
Victory screech!
So that coming to you from ASU football victory screech. Obviously, guys, I have to ask. I need your guys' victory screech. Lay it on.
All right, okay. Hello! Just a good little,
what the?
A little tiger.
Oh, yoink! That's mine.
A yoink.
Yoink.
Yoink? You got to explain the yoink. Come on, man.
It's too long for this show. I'll explain to you off air.
It means everything and nothing at all. Let's put it that way.
Understood.
We'll go in deeper after the show.
Understood.
Don't worry.
So we're moving on to the third tweet here. And it's a photo taken by Andrew Paya with a tweet, Andrew Paya. And you're going to notice something about this tweet, but not at first. See, the first thing, you see Manny Wilkins. He got the cup in hand. He's hoisting it.
But I like where this is headed.
You do? Look at the... Out of focus right there, is that?
Come on.
I think it might be.
Boy.
I think it is. It is our own handsome man, Braiden Bell.
Now that is a smile for the big screen. I know I'm in the background there, but wow.
I'm sick of this. I can't.
People
I'm
say
done.
the Territorial Cup shines, but
oh,
look at the background there.
How did you gas him up like this?
No, I didn't want to, but I had to. That's the thing. And guys, really, it's kind of sentimental. It was Manny's last Territorial Cup. It's your guys' last time anchoring CSL, so I figured we had to celebrate, right?
Oh,
so
let's go! I knew it! Hello, let's go!
Yeah, we got
yoink.
cake. Oh, there it is. So here's your
got
forks.
The confetti cake, folks.
Oh, yeah?
Man, I'm
the
honored.
confetti cake.
All right.
And we're just gonna dig
Cheers,
in here.
fellas.
Lift this up a little bit.
Oh,
See
yeah.
this for the camera.
Oh yeah.
This is what my college education is going towards.
Vanilla?
Oh man.
Okay, sir.
That's better than I thought it would be.
You never disappoint. I'm so glad we invited you back.
Sprinkles for winners. Tyler, you are a winner.
Thank
that was
you.
outstanding.
Thank you.
Great stuff is always there. And you got on a high note, bringing us cake. I'm forever in debt to you. But now, let's move on to Arizona State's women's basketball team. The Sun Devils will be playing a back-to-back this weekend at the Bank. But right now, basketball isn't the only challenge. Student athletes are balancing sports and preparing for finals. WCSN was at practice to hear from head coach Charlie Turner-Thorne about the season so far and how her team handles the challenging time of year.
I don't know if it's one adjustment. I mean, we didn't shoot well in either game, and so I think, obviously to beat one of the best teams in the country, normally you're not going to shoot in the low 30s and win. I mean, even though we had a one-possession game with both of them. So, but we also always talk about in this program, that's always something that's kind of an uncontrollable. So what can we control? We can rebound better. We can execute our offense better. We can run harder. We can screen better. We chart out, it's like, our screening efficiency isn't anywhere where it needs to be. Our running hard every time isn't anywhere where it needs to be. So, we just got to keep getting better. I don't think it really, to be honest, it doesn't really matter our opponent.
Okay.
It's just about us. And, this is a hard time right now. You guys last summer practice, it's final. You guys are all students, right? So you all know this is really finals week, right? Not next week. That's like for our kids, like a lot of them are practically done after this week. So they're in finals right now. I think that kind of showed a little bit today. So we just right now we kind of have to just grind and work through. Freshmen are good. I mean, yeah, they're doing great. I mean, we're just pushing them because we need them, and I was probably a little too hesitant with them in the Baylor game, and I think I did better in the Louisville game, but really by Pac-12 I just need to be ready to go with them, because we're just so much better when we keep a rotation, and I can keep Riley fresher and people aren't playing too many minutes. But they really complement each other. They're like a fun class. They're all 4 different positions, do different things. So I love playing them together. Like I work them together a ton in practice, and then like off the bench it's like, okay. And there's some breakdowns out there with that, but yeah, these 4 are going to be critical to our success this year. Yeah, and they already have big roles, all 4 of them. Yeah.
In a class of 12 freshmen on this ASU women's hockey team, one has a path to Tempe that stands out. About a year ago, freshman forward Kat Jones tore her ACL. Fast forward to today, and she leads the team in goals and total points. Our Liesl Babka caught up with the Pittsburgh native to tell the story of her comeback.
Watching the sport one loves to play from the sidelines puts being an athlete into a different perspective. But spending 11 months to a year without playing in a single game of that sport changes one altogether. Freshman Katherine Jones had to do just that this past year. In fact, her first game back was her first collegiate game of her career, playing for the ASU ACHA D1 Women's Club Hockey program.
It was the hardest thing I've ever done, without a doubt. It was discouraging at times. It wasn't easy all the time. It was probably hard more than it was easy.
Unexpectedly, Jones tore her ACL in a high school powder puff football game in Pittsburgh before she was even recruited by ASU head coach Lindsay Ellis. However, the injury didn't stop Ellis from taking a chance on her.
Just seeing her transform from the first practice until now, I mean, it gets better every single day, and we're not asking her to not think about that injury or everything, but I think she's done a really good job at bringing that confidence back up from our first day here.
Jones doesn't let a past injury stop her from her success with her new team, as she now wears the A on her Sun Devil uniform only as a freshman.
She is a great leader by example, but now she's a little more vocal, which is huge because the other freshmen can have so much to learn from her, so it's really great that she is giving them that as well.
Jones has played in all 14 games this season, and not only does she represent her team as a captain, but she also leads the team in points. With 10 goals and 6 assists this season, she's 2 goals away from breaking the Lady Sun Devil scoring record.
Her work ethic is unbelievable. I mean, especially when she started scoring that goal tying the game against Midland, getting that overtime goal against Air Force. I mean, she's ready to play. She's ready to get points. She's ready to be there in different situations. And I mean, her work ethic is unbelievable.
Overall, Jones feels happier with her success and being able to come back from such a difficult injury. Being noticed by her teammates as their captain makes her proud of how far she has truly come.
Just don't take advantage of things that you are able to do every single day. Just be able to make sure you enjoy them while you have them, because even if it's not an injury, they're going to end eventually.
With her achievements just as a freshman, Jones still has another 3 seasons to continue to impress her family, teammates, and coaches. In Tempe, Arizona, for Cronkite Sports, I'm Liesl Babka.
We already know top plays are the most impressive or exciting plays, but what about the moments that just mean more? Well, to remedy that, we picked our top 5 moments of the semester for ASU athletics, and you know what? I'm excited for these ones because they mean more.
Yeah, this is what sports are all about, the moments. It's what we really love, right?
That's what we're going to remember.
Yeah, so
let's get to
what
it.
we got.
Number 5, we're starting at volleyball, where we're going all the way out to Eugene. Yes, that's at number 15 Oregon at the time, and ASU on this tool kill from Ivana Jeremic getting the win. Obviously, as we mentioned earlier, not too many of those, so this was one of the biggest in program history.
Yeah, that was a big one for sure. Another big win. Let's move on to the ice, and Arizona State's hockey team becoming ranked for the first time in program history. This is still a very young program. It's college hockey in the desert. They're ranked nationally. That's pretty awesome.
And number 3, Eno Video Game Benjamin right here, getting it done for ASU. 312 yards against Oregon State. Are you kidding me? Eno Benjamin. I mean, we've seen this guy rise as a sophomore, already
probably going to break the single season record for most rushing yards in a season, but here broke rushing in one game.
You know Benjamin's world, and we're just living in it, EG. All right, number 2, how about a dynasty? Forget innovation for a moment. Let's talk triathlon, a three-peat. This year doing it at home in Tempe. Not easy to win one national championship. They get 3 in a row. That's big time talk right there.
Talk about big time. Number 1, no surprise, the Territorial Cup from this year. ASU in the fourth quarter, a 19-point deficit. That's just cake for Manny Wilkins and crew as they came all the way back to complete one of the biggest comebacks and most historic wins in Territorial Cup history. You saw the miss by Josh Pollock right there, and ASU absolutely doing their thing over in Tucson.
What a big win that was, Eliav. Because this is the season finale, we sadly won't be talking to you for over a month. But hey, relax. Jacob Rudner has everything laid out for you so you won't miss anything happening in Sun Devil athletics. Hey, Jacob, what's on the menu?
Well, Braiden, I am glad you asked, because if Arizona State University is the restaurant, this is the menu. Sun Devil Athletics has a lot going on between now, our final episode of the season, and when we come back for season 11 of Cronkite Sports Live. So let's take a look at what ASU Athletics has to serve over the next month. Your options start with Sun Devil football. Manny Wilkins, N'Keal Harry, and the Herm Train have won their way to a bowl game this year. While we don't exactly know which game they'll be playing in, the Devils project to play in the Las Vegas Bowl, which will be held on December 15th at Sam Boyd Stadium. Moving down the menu, we have the Sun Devil men's and women's basketball teams. The men are set to face the University of Nevada in an appetizer next Friday in Los Angeles for the Hoop Hall Classic. They then hit the road to take on Georgia on December 15th, followed by a game at Vandy on the 17th. The Devils fly home after the 2-game road series for their hardest game of the season, a December 22nd main course matchup against the Kansas Jayhawks. The Devils finish out their December slate with a game against Princeton on the 29th and open up the new year with games against Utah on the 3rd and Colorado on the 5th and Cal on the 9th. For the Lady Devils on the hardwood, they take on Colorado State on December 9th, Kansas State on the 16th, Fresno State on the 20th, and the Liberty Cup of women's basketball on December 30th, when the Devils take on the Arizona Wildcats. They open January with Utah on the 4th and Colorado on the 6th. ASU men's hockey also makes its menu debut with games against Colorado College on December 14th and 15th, followed by the Desert Hockey Classic, where the best teams in the country come to the Arizona Coyotes Gila River Arena for games on December 28th and 29th. The men's hockey team will do its best to remain in the rankings. The menu is set for our small break between seasons, and one thing is for sure. If you're a Devils fan, no choice is the wrong one, and honestly, you can't overeat when it comes to sports.
Great stuff, Jacob. I gotta say, good tip coming your way, and after such a scrumptious segment, I've got cake already. Now we had the menu. Only one thing to do from here. It's time to debate a little bit. It's time for the way it is. Our favorite segment all around. Eliav, Gabay, you guys know the rules. 3 questions, we'll debate it out, and the winner will get to rant a little bit of a monologue. So, Eliav, let's start it from the top. And I don't know about this one, but we have 3 tough questions for you today. Let's stick with the food theme, the meat of Arizona State's schedule, coming in right now in non-conference play. My question is, will the Devils become ranked at all? And if they do, how high will they get?
I think they will be ranked, and I think I see them probably somewhere in between 20 to 25, and it's going to be next week.
Okay.
Whether they hold on to that or not is going to be very telling depending on if they beat Nevada. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to be around the rankings all season long. Braiden, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to give you a specific number. This will probably be wrong. I'll go with number 17. I think, like you said, after this week, they'll be ranked. I think they can squeeze by, possibly Nevada. That would get them much higher, but 17 is my safe pick.
Well, the football team, as we've heard, I don't know if you know, Braiden pulled up a big comeback this past Saturday.
Yeah.
But let's step away from the gridiron. In your opinion, what is the biggest win in Sun Devil athletics in the past couple of years?
So a lot's going on with finals week. I gotta say, I went short term, but it's still a big win. Hockey at Penn State.
Oh, yeah.
It's a program on the rise. We told you they were ranked nationally. In large part to that win, that's a program-defining win without a doubt.
No doubt about that. I'm going to go to a very obvious one. Last year, Guard U heading to Kansas and getting that big-time win. And I say Guard U because that was the start of Guard U. Shannon Evans the second, Trey Holder, Cody Justice, really getting that done. Of course, Remy Martin showing up on the national radar right there as well.
All right, Eliav, believe it or not, 2018, it's almost over. About time for the new year. Crazy about that, but one of the biggest things with New Year's, of course, resolutions. Nobody follows them, but we all like to make them. So pick an Arizona State sport that should have a resolution. What should it be?
I'm going to go with ASU baseball. Of course, Tracy Smith on the hot seat this year, and for good reason. I think they might have to clean house, might have to start something new, because right now, just as much as the vibe is not right, and you can feel it all across Tempe. Braiden, what do you think?
You're Scrooge. No holiday spirit for you. Okay, I'm going to go strength, and Arizona State basketball is the team I'm talking about. I think this program needs to stay strong. We saw it last year, the great non-conference. They fell off in conference play. The new year, new me needs to carry over into conference season and see whether or not they can continue that on. And if they do that, they could be in very good spot for March.
All right, come on now. Give me the dub. Johnny Fingers.
I think we know where we're going
Johnny
here.
Fingers.
Both of us deep down
Come on now. Let's go.
You've got your money, Manziel. He's now playing in Canada for a reason.
No, now I know I'm going to lose.
Exactly. That was a curse.
He didn't make it in the NFL.
No, and you're not going to make it in this segment. There you go.
Well, all right. You know
I
what?
called my shot.
That's predictable.
In sports, we often search for a storyline, a rallying point, a momentous occasion that we can look back on and say, I saw that. Sun Devil fans have had a chance to seize that kind of moment right now. It's a fun time to be on campus. Herm Edwards has the football program heading in the right direction. The hockey program is nationally ranked. And Charlie Turner Thorne's squad is one of the most dangerous teams in the conference. But one program is at the dawn of the golden era, and fans need to appreciate it in its infancy. Sun Devil basketball is here to stay at a high level. Bobby Hurley's bench has notched 19 straight non-conference wins. That alone is something to marvel at. But when you dive deeper and see the teams they've beaten, it's unprecedented ground for this program. Kansas, Xavier, Mississippi State, just to name a few. Sure, it's been a great stretch, but this is just the beginning. With this year's roster and the recruiting that's already been done for the future, ASU is set to become the new IT program in the West. The momentum is building. You can see it as bright as the Arizona sun. So, Sun Devil fans, bask in this moment and go catch this program on its way to the golden era before it's too late to say, I saw that coming. And that's the way it is.
All right, time for top plays. We're going 5 of them, starting at number 5. Yes, we're going to keep it with ASU men's basketball out in Vegas as Mississippi State looking for the layup. But no, Zylan Cheatham coming with the LBJ block all across the way. Zylan Cheatham, see it again. Oh my Lord, LeBron looking like coming for the block.
Blocked by Cheatham! Mike Breen. All right, number 4, top play of the semester. Give me a little bit of soccer action. Alexia Delgado from outside the box, a laser show in Tempe. What a shot it was. And the soccer team had some good moments all season long. That was the best play we saw on the pitch all year.
Right off the top bar, and here comes Johnny Walker, the nation's goal-scoring leader right now. And Johnny Walker, a big-time win, a ranked win for ASU hockey, and right there we'll see it again from behind the net. Johnny Walker, a little bit of a dangle, but nope, right off to the left, and that's a big-time goal for him.
Numero dos. Let's take it back to Vegas. Who doesn't love Vegas? Tay Cherry does. Oh my goodness, there is a lot of entertainment on the Strip. You will not see anything more violent than that. Utah State will remember that for a while. And the young gun, the phenomenal freshman, throws it down with authority.
Just a cherry bomb right there, number 1. Oh man, this might be number 1 in all of sports right here. N'Keal Harry with the what? Isaac Newton hates that defining physics right there. Oh my God, N'Keal Harry, the one-handed, what horizontal catch?
Yeah.
I mean, look at that.
You see the red paint on the back of his jersey. He wears the blood of his opponents on his armor, and that's exactly what he did right there. USC, I'm sorry, the Coliseum, N'Keal won that fight, no doubt about
It's
that.
aggressive, but I'm a fan of it.
It's season finale, time to throw out all the sayings, right?
Well, here we are at the end of it. It was a great time, Braiden. I mean, it's been 4 years coming, but we finally anchored together.
4 years, we finally got to do it. We got cake out of it. I mean, this is a win.
Well, to the victor goes the spoils, and I think we're victors today. And thank you so much for joining us for Cronkite Sports Live. For everyone behind the scenes, we'll see you after winter break. For Braiden Bell, I'm Eliav Gabay saying
Goodbye.